Are you going to ask me a question, or I'm
going to ask you a bunch of questions.
God, okay. That makes things way easier.
Hannah.
Yes.
You were homeless.
I am.
Homeless in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Living in a woman's shelter. Mm-hmm. And I found you on Instagram.
Yes.
So you should be used to this.
I'm used to myself filming me.
Yeah, this is a new experience.
Yes.
So, what's homelessness like? And you're never street homeless.
No, I've only ever lived in shelters or couch hops.
Yeah. What is homelessness like for a young woman in Los Angeles that is housing insecure?
I think the main word that comes to mind is isolating. Not very many people understand homelessness. I'm not convinced that all of the people who work at my shelter truly understand it, even though they see it every single day. It's not something that they get to go home at night and they don't have to sleep in one of the beds every night. So there are so few people who understand it, and there are people who will think you're trying to take advantage of them or just not be able to handle the amount of stress that you're under and be unable to help you carry that. So I would say isolating is kind of the main emotion I experience around it.
People don't understand how stressful a homeless shelter is. And when I asked you, how's the place where you're at, you said it could be worse.
Absolutely.
But it's a congregate shelter, so you don't really have privacy.
Yeah, so it's a renovated warehouse, and the way that it is set up is there's a room full of cubicles. Each cubicle, there's a top bunk, a bottom bunk, and then 2 cabinets.
Oh, you share a cubicle with somebody?
Yes, I'm in a top bunk, and then I have
oh my gosh,
a roommate. We all just call them roommates, and then we say neighbors our neighbors are the people in the other cubicles. But I'm in the top bunk. Thank God, I've not handled the bottom bunk well. But I'm very much introverted, so it is very difficult. There's not privacy anywhere.
Well, there's...
Even in, private offices, which we have, there's still security cameras. So it's just constantly this feeling of, always eyes on you.
I mean, it's stressful. Yes. So I lived in a homeless shelter for 7 years. Never had my own space. Mm-hmm. And now I can't do roommates because of it.
Oh.
Talk about PTSD. PTSD, I mean, the stress of, because you don't have, what can I say it? I mean, some shelters do the best they can.
Yes.
But it strips your dignity away.
It's really easy to lose yourself. It's really, really easy to lose yourself and feel like you're losing your humanity, which adds to the isolation.
Yeah. And so you were housing insecure on and off, or mostly, I shouldn't say on and off. But
yeah. I had 1 year of being secure in housing in the last 8 years.
Okay, so it is on and off. But you had an abusive roommate situation, and then you went and couch surfed with people that had a 1-year-old, and you're sharing the bedroom. And that is always challenging, and
different kinds of challenge, but
right,
still challenging.
And they're going to have another kid, and you ended up in a shelter.
Yes.
That, I mean, how do you? I mean, you're very happy.
I'm on medication. This is me on Klonopin right now.
Okay. Well, I've never had that response, but you're even on medication, you're doing your best to stay positive.
Yeah, most of the time.
And that's for all of us, really, especially in today's world. Oh my gosh. So you started on Instagram, and I'm going to go on a little rant here because lived experience is such a big thing now for the homeless sector. And they do all these campaigns and everything else, and people have the best of intentions. But what they don't do, or what we need to do more of, is find people like you that are already using these platforms, telling their stories, and help you amplify your reach. But you have a great little story about how you started with your friend.
Yeah, so I was actually gifted a trip to Texas to see my family over the holidays, and I was talking with my cousin and her daughter, and I brought up how I have a silicone face scrubber, and it makes my life so much easier because then I don't have wet washcloths just sitting in my laundry until I get a chance to use the laundry room again. And that sort of spiraled into a much larger conversation about what kind of things are helpful, what kind of things would absolutely not be helpful, or like things that before I was homeless, I was like, this would be a great idea. And then I'm homeless and I'm like, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. So I was talking with them, and at one point she was saying like, if the room is too bright, like it's okay, just like, and I was like, Lacey, when's the last time do you think I slept in darkness? Like the floor lights are always on. So she and her daughter were like, you should start an Instagram page talking about this because these are not things that you would know unless you've experienced them.
So why Instagram?
Because I don't like TikTok. Primarily.
Okay.
And Instagram's just the platform I'm most comfortable with. I'm much more familiar with it, so.
And what is the message you're putting out? And I've got to say one thing here, because one of your recent reels, you're talking about donations to shelters, not street homelessness.
Totally different experience.
We have, and I'll link to it in the description, we have a great video, what to give homeless people, but it's focused on people that are unsheltered. You're talking about shelters.
Yes.
And, you know, you start off by saying, ask the shelter.
Always.
And I've never heard anybody say that other than me, because, like, you know, you think you know what somebody needs or the shelter needs. I have worked at a shelter that ran out of pillows. They ran out of coffee.
Yeah.
You know, simple things that would be easy to donate and help.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So reach out. So tell me about that.
My 2 rules of thumb are always, well, 3 rules of thumb. One is, if you want to donate anything, always reach out to the shelter or the homeless organization first to make sure that they can actually use it. Second, when in doubt, donate money. Homeless funding is an absolute joke, so that would be my step 2.
And if you don't have money, volunteer.
Yes, that's another thing, is you can always donate services. We have a woman who comes in like twice a year and just does free haircuts. We have people do all sorts of free groups. So you don't have to donate things, you can donate services. But then my third is, if you're trying to think of like, oh, I don't know if I should donate this or I should donate this, or if this would be a good idea, is just think about, like, you just got off a 6-hour flight, you haven't showered, you're hungry, you're cranky, you want to go home. What would make you feel more like a person in that situation? Like, would that be a soft blanket? Would that just be some face lotion? Like, think about, like, fuzzy socks. Think about what kind of things that aren't necessarily needs, but, like, what would make you feel more like a person in that situation?
I always tell the story around Christmas time. I work in a homeless shelter, or I worked in a homeless shelter, and we got so many toys. We would first call around to the fire department and the library and see if anybody needed toys, and they all had too many toys. Mm-hmm. And homeless families, they don't have storage for the ability to keep all the toys.
Yes.
So we ended up throwing them away, right? And I'm not saying don't give toys. I'm saying contact the shelter, ask them what they need, and maybe it's a gift card to Target so the mom can take them school shopping.
Yes. Yes. One of the ones that I just talked about in a recent video too is just like shower shoes. Sorry, that was a loud truck. Yeah, shower shoes, flip-flops. At the shelter I'm at, we have shared showers, and like anything to keep your foot from that floor is really important. But there are some women at the shelter and they have tennis shoes.
Yeah. I forgot. I watched that clip, flip-flops, and people might not understand that. And I'm trying to refrain because I have a really gross story I can tell about homeless shelters.
There's so
and
many.
A mystery pooper. So
I have a story like that too.
We all do.
Have that story.
Right. So flip-flops are so important.
Yes.
And I forgot you did that reel.
Yeah.
So what other types of content are you putting up?
I did like a 9-part series of the in-depth how I went from living in an apartment to now living in the shelter that I'm at. But my whole goal is to just dispel some of the fear and stigma around homelessness as a whole. At first, I was like, I would love to create a page that I would have found helpful back when I was trying to figure out what to do, when I realized I was like, oh, I'm not going to have a place. Like, I'm not going to have a roof.
So there's a couple of things here. I worked up a presentation to talk to homeless people and formerly homeless people to inspire them or teach them how to do invisible people. In fact, to do online
Content.
social media.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's why I said invisible people. Many years ago, I actually produced cartoons to teach people how to blog and use Twitter and Facebook, right? Because I saw the importance of it. So there's people that do it just for journaling, right? It helps them. They're not trying to teach anybody anything.
Yeah.
They're just doing it for them.
Yes.
Because then they are talking to somebody.
Yes.
Because, as you said, homelessness is isolating.
Very.
Then there's people that don't want to do it, and that's fine too.
Absolutely.
You know? And then there's people like you that are working to educate the public, and that's brilliant.
Thank you.
What kind of reception have you had?
Overwhelmingly positive. I've had, I could probably count the negative comments that I've gotten on one hand.
Really?
Yeah. And it's funny because whenever I do get negative comments, they usually get deleted because other people they don't come for them, but they will be like, here's why you're wrong, this is why you're wrong. I'll have some people like disagreeing with things that I say or things that I bring up in like not the most polite way, but like it's the internet, who does. But overwhelmingly positive. So people have been so kind in the comments, in DMs, just absolutely wonderful.
Get a job, get a job, get a job, get a job, get a job.
Yes, I did limit the words work and job. People cannot comment those things because that was the primary comment that I got in DMs. Yeah. I have what I call a curiosity form at a link in my bio where people can go enter questions and it'll go straight to me in a Google form.
Oh, that's a neat idea.
And most of those questions can also be like, what do you do for work?
You're disabled and can't work.
Yes, I've been disabled and unable to work since 2022.
Right.
So
you just don't look it.
Yes.
Nor do you look homeless.
I don't give off homeless. Most people don't read that from me.
What's interesting, when I worked as a case manager, I would say 80% of our clients didn't look homeless.
Homeless, yeah. And that's one of the other things I want to do with my page is like homelessness does not have a look. There's not like a right or wrong way to do homelessness or be homeless. Or
I have to disagree. Homelessness is just horrible. Nobody should do it.
Oh, yes. No, absolutely not. But like if you are homeless, there's not a way to be like, you're being bad. Like you're doing homelessness bad.
And homelessness does have a look because look at you. Look at, we're all humans.
Yeah.
And people on the street or in shelters just don't have adequate housing.
Yeah, and going back to work real quick, I am disabled. Quite a few of the women at my shelter are disabled also, but a lot of the women at the shelter have full-time jobs, but they still live at the shelter. So just because you have a job does not guarantee you housing or adequate housing.
Well, one of the fastest growing demographics of homelessness is people working 1 or 2 jobs living in a tent because they can't afford a place to live.
Yes.
So now you're talking to other homeless women, homeless people, homeless men out there. What would you tell them about amplifying their voice on social media?
I would say their voice is important, but their mental health and privacy is more important. So if it
Great
is something
response.
that they want to do and they're like, oh wait, that sounds super cool, like I'd love
Yeah.
to do that, great, we need more people doing that. And if you're like, I do not have the mental capacity for that, like I'm barely making it through the day, great, we're here for you.
Yeah.
That sucks, we get it. And by we, I mean
Right,
me and
right,
other
right.
homeless people and other people who've been homeless. So don't feel pressure to be like, well, I have to share the story, like I have to educate people. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You just have to survive. That's all you got to do.
And then for those who want to influence change,
What do you mean?
like just do it. Grab the camera.
Oh yeah,
grab your phone, and
just grab a camera and start recording. It
people
will
will find
take
it.
more than one take. Just a heads
Yeah.
up. Most of my reels I try filming like 5 times before I finally get one that I'll post.
Well,
so.
I'm laughing because once I put up the camera here, you were very anxious in a good, fun way. And I'm
Yes.
like, you do this all the time.
I don't do this all the time. I do an iPhone that I am holding
Yeah.
pretty often.
Oh my gosh. What would you want people, the public, people who have never experienced homelessness, to know about homelessness?
That it is survivable and that it does not lack humanity.
Explain that. So yes, we can, everybody needs support to get into housing that is secure.
Yes.
So that's survivable, if you would.
Yes.
And
It can be survivable.
yeah, and humanity is, we're all human.
Yeah, so when you see a homeless person that looks like me or a homeless person that looks like what is portrayed in movies and TV shows, there's no less like personhood between the two of us. And there's no less personhood between me and someone who lives in Beverly Hills. There's the humanity is across the board, and it's really easy to see someone in a situation that you don't think you would ever be in, but if you did ever end up in that situation, you wouldn't handle it the way they're handling it. You don't know that. You're probably completely wrong, to be honest. So that's where I'm saying that the humanity is across the board. 9 times out of 10, probably more. Homeless people will pick the best available option. So if someone is sleeping at a bus stop, it's not because they don't want to be in a shelter or housed. It's because the best available option to them is a bus stop.
Something else I'm just blown away because we agree on so many things, and we just met.
Yes.
Right? We haven't talked a lot.
No.
Is that when people try to donate to you, you say, I have a good support network.
Yes.
Go help people in your community.
Yes.
Because you can guarantee there's homeless people where they live.
Yes.
And it's more of a win-win for them to help people that are local homeless.
Yes.
And if we all, I got to stop with this and I'm going to let you go. And if we all work to fix the affordable housing crisis, oh my gosh, it would help every homeless person.
Yes. And every potentially homeless person, because so many people and so many families are 1 or 2 paychecks away from homelessness.
Yeah. But it's very a unique view because a lot of people will say, well, I want to donate to that person. And that's amazing that you have empathy to take action. But use that empathy to go prevent and solve homelessness in your own community.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I so appreciate when people ask what they can do to help me. My Venmo is on my Instagram somewhere. But I don't want to be the person where someone like sends $20 and is like, I solved homelessness, or like, I fixed homelessness.
Yeah.
And again, I appreciate it so much, but that $20 could go real far for a homeless shelter organization in your city or in your town.
We need to prevent and solve homelessness for people that are in a tent and for people that are hopefully never street homeless and just need affordable housing.
Yes.
If you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
I would love a pet chameleon named Persimmon.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
You know I love lizards.
No, that really keeps me going some days.
My lizard, my iguana's name was Dog.
Yeah, so I would love just like a studio apartment where I can have Persimmon, and then I would love maybe like a little corner in the studio apartment with with like kids' books for when my nephews come and see me. That's the dream.
Well, thank you very much for talking to me.
I'm happy to. Thank you for asking.